18.
Seems that we will be meeting after a long time, right? All programs. Janmashtami Utsav all over now. For a devotee, every day is on Janmashtami. 2.4.18, right?
Yes,
Hmm.
Mother.
A little recap. So I offer respected respects to the Lord with all auspicious qualities. So by worshipping the feet, that Gyanis destroy the attachment. In this way, I offer continual respects, full of auspicious qualities. Without worshipping him, the Gyanis, Karmis, they cannot attain any benefit. Now in this way, 2.4.18th verse. So very nicely it has been said. Bhoktaram nitya tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram surdam sarvabhutanam gyatva mam shanti mrichati. Karmis, Gyanis, Yogis, they all can attain perfection only when they can understand that Bhoktaram is Krishna. Without understanding Bhoktaram is Krishna or keeping Krishna in the center, they can never attain any perfection. So when Sukadeva Goswami was requested by the king to describe all the creative energies of the Lord, at that time he started speaking. When he is speaking, first thing he is doing is he is paying namana. That means he is paying obeisances to Lord. And he is describing that how Lord, he is responsible for the creation, everything he only does. It seems that he's accepting the three modes of nature, but no, he's above, he's complete, he's residing in everyone's body. And the three modes of nature are actually under him. Kirata, Unandra, Pulindra, Pulkasha, Abhira Shumbha, Yavana Khasadayah, Yenye Chapapa Yadapashaya Pashayaha, Yadapashaya Shrayaha, Shuddyanti Tasmai Prabhavishnave Namah. Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha, Abhira Shumbha, Yavana Kasadayah, Yenye Chapapa, Yadapa Shraya, Shuddyanti Tasmai Prabhavishnave Namah. Again, let me pay obeisances to that powerful Lord, Vishnu, Prabhavishnave. Prabhavishnave means is powerful Vishnu. Kirata is the old province of old Bharata. Huna, part of Germany. Russia. Andhra, that is a province of southern India, that is South India. Then Pulinda, that is the Greeks. Pulkashaha, another province. Abhiraha, old Sindh. Shambha, another province. Yavanaha, the Turks. Then Khasa Adyaha, the Mongolian province. Ye, even those Anya, others, cha, also Papaha, addicted to sinful acts. Yata Apashraya Ashraya, having taken shelter of the Lord, Shuddyanti. So though they come in the sinful areas, because they have taken shelter of Lord, they can be easily purified. They are addicted to sinful acts. But just by taking shelter of the Lord, what happens? They are completely Shuddhyanti. Kirat, Hunandra, this Andhra also comes. Andhra area. So all this, but in some places they say this is not the Andhra Pradesh what we are speaking of. In some places it is said, yes, it is spoken of the same province. So a difference of some opinion is there. Province of southern India, Pulinda, the Greeks, they are all addicted to all sinful activities. So just by taking the shelter of Lord, they can be easily purified. Okay. Ravindra Prabhu, please read.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Kirata, text 18. Kirata Hunandra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Shumba Yavanah Khashadayah Yenye cha papa yad apashraya shrayaha Shudyanti tasmai prabhavishnave namaha. Translation by Kirat, Huna, Andhra Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumba, Yavana, members of the Khasha race, and even others addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Kirat, purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Kirat, a province of old Bharat Varsh mentioned in the Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. Generally, the Kiratas are known as the aboriginal tribes of India. And in modern days, the Santal Parganas in Bihar and Chota Nagpur might compromise the old province named Kirat. Huna, the area of East Germany and part of Russia, is known as the province of Huna. Accordingly, sometimes the kind of hill tribe is known as the Hunas. Andhra, a province in southern India mentioned in the Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata. It is still extant under the same name. Pulinda, it is mentioned in the Mahabharata Adi Parva 174.38, namely the inhabitants of the province of the name Pulinda. This country was conquered by Bhimashen and Sahadev. The Greeks are known as Pulindas, and it is mentioned in the Varna Parva of Mahabharata that the non-Vedic race of this part of the world would rule over the world. This Pulinda province was also one of the provinces of Bharata, and the inhabitants were classified among the Kshatriya kings. But later on, due to their giving up the Brahmanical culture, they were mentioned as Mlechas, just as those who are not followers of the Islamic cultures are called Kafirs, and those who are not followers of the Christian culture are called heathens. Abhira. This name also appears in Mahabharata, both in the Shava Parva and in the Bhishma Parva. It is mentioned that this province was situated on the river Saraswati in Sindh. The modern Sindh province formerly extended on the other side of the Arabian Sea, and all the inhabitants of that province were known as the Abhiras. They were under the domination of Maharaj Yudhishthira, and according to the statements of Markandeya, the Mlechas of this part of the world would also rule over Bharata. Later on, this proved to be true, as in the case of Pulindas. On behalf of the Pulindas, Alexander the Great conquered India, and on behalf of the Abhiras, Muhammad Ghori conquered India. These Abhiras were also formerly Kshatriyas within the Brahmical culture, were also formerly Kshatriyas within the Brahmical culture, but they gave up the connection. The Kshatriyas who were afraid of Parshuram and had hidden themselves in the Caucasian hilly regions later on became known as the Abhiras, and the place they inhabited was known as Abhiradesha. Shumbas or Kankas, the inhabitants of the Kanka province of Old Bharat mentioned in the Mahabharata. Yavanas. Yavana was the name of one of the sons of Maharaj Yayati, who was given the part of the world known as Turkey to rule. Therefore, the Turks are Yavanas, due to being descendants of Maharaj Yavana. The Yavanas were therefore Kshatriyas, and later on, by giving up the Brahminical culture, they become Mlecha Yavanas. Description of the Yavanas are in the Mahabharata Adi Parva 85.34. Another prince called Turvashu was also named as Yavana, and his country was conquered by Sahadev, one of the Pandavas. The western Yavana joined with Duryodhana in the battle of Kurukshetra under the pressure of Karna. It is also foretold that these Yavanas would also conquer India, and this also proved to be true. Khasa. The inhabitants of the Khasa Desh are mentioned in the Mahabharata, that is in the Drona Parva. Those who have a stunted growth of hair on the upper lips are generally called Khasas. As Khasas. As such, the Khasa are the Mongolians, the Chinese, and others who are so designated. The above mentioned historical names are different nations of the world. Even those who are constantly engaged in sinful acts are all corrigible to the standard of perfect human beings, if they take shelter of the devotees of the Lord. Jesus Christ and Muhammad, two powerful devotees of the Lord, have done tremendous service on behalf of the Lord on the surface of the globe. And from the version of Srila Shukadev Goswami, it appears that instead of running a godless civilization in the present context of the world situation, if the leadership of world affairs is entrusted to the devotees of the Lord, if the leadership of world affairs is entrusted to the devotees of the Lord, for which a worldwide organization under the name and style of International Society for Krishna Consciousness has already been started, then, by the grace of Almighty Lord, there can be a thorough change of heart in human beings all over the world, because the devotees of the Lord are able authorities to effect such a change by purifying the dust-born minds of the people in general. The politicians of the world may remain in their respective position because the pure devotees of the Lord are not interested in political leadership or diplomatic implications. The devotees are interested only in seeing that the people in general are not misguided by political propaganda, and in seeing that the valuable life of human being is not spoiled in following a type of civilization which is ultimately doomed. If the politicians therefore would be guided by the good counsel of the devotees, then certainly there would be a great change in the world situation by the purifying propaganda of the devotees, as shown by Lord Chaitanya. As Shukadev Goswami began his prayer by discussing the word Yat Kirtanam, so also Lord Chaitanya recommended that simply by glorifying the Lord's holy name, simply by glorifying the Lord's holy name, a tremendous change of heart can take place, by which the complete misunderstanding between the human nations created by politicians can at once be extinguished. And after the extinction of the fire of misunderstanding, other profits will flow. The destination is to go back to Godhead, as we have several times discussed in these pages. According to the cult of devotion generally known as the Vaishnava cult, there is no bar against anyone's advancing in the matter of God realization. A Vaishnava is powerful enough to turn into a Vaishnava, even the Kirat, etc., as above mentioned. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.32, it is said by the Lord that there is no bar to becoming a devotee of the Lord, even for those who are low-born, or women, or Shudras, or Vaishyas. And by becoming a devotee, everyone is eligible to return home back to Godhead. The only qualification is that one takes shelter of a pure devotee of the Lord who has thorough knowledge in the transcendental science of Krishna, that is Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Anyone from any part of the world who becomes well conversant in the science of Krishna becomes a pure devotee and a spiritual master for the general mass of people, and he may reclaim them by purification of heart. Though a person be even the most sinful man, he can at once be purified by systematic contact with the pure Vaishnava. A Vaishnava, therefore, can accept a bona fide disciple from any part of the world without any consideration of caste, creed, and promote him by regulative principles the status of a pure Vaishnava who is transcendental to even the Brahminical culture. The system of caste or Varnashram Dharam is no longer regular even amongst the so-called followers of the system. Nor is it now possible to re-establish the institutional function in the present context of social, political, and economic revolution. Without any reference to the particular custom of country, one can be accepted to the Vaishnava cult spiritually, and there is no hindrance in the transcendental process. So by the order of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the cult of Srimad Bhagavatam or the Bhagavad Gita can be preached all over the world, reclaiming all persons willing to accept the transcendental cult. Such cultural propaganda by the devotees may certainly be accepted by all persons who are reasonable and inquisitive without any particular bias for the custom of the country. The Vaishnava never accepts another Vaishnava on the basis of birthright, just as he never thinks of the deity of Lord in a temple as an idol. And to remove all doubts in this connection, Sri Shukadev Goswami has invoked the blessings of the Lord, who is all powerful. That is Prabha Vishnave Namaha, Rabhan Vishnave Namaha. As the all-powerful Lord accepts the humble service of his devotee in devotional activities of the Archana, his form as the worshipable deity in the temple. Similarly, the body of a pure Vaishnava changes transcendentally at once when he gives himself up to the service of the Lord and is trained by a qualified Vaishnava. The injunction of Vaishnava regulation in this connection runs as follows. Arche Vishnu Shiladhir Gurushu Naramatir Vaishnave Jati Buddhi Shri Vishnur Namni Shabda Samanya Buddhi, etc. One should not consider the deity of the Lord as worshipped in the temple to be an idol, nor should one consider the authorized spiritual master as an ordinary man, nor should one consider a pure Vaishnava to belong to a particular class, caste, example, etc. given in Padma Puran. The conclusion is that the Lord, being all powerful, can under any and every circumstance accept anyone from any part of the world, either personally or through his bona fide manifestation as a spiritual master. Lord Chaitanya accepted many devotees from communities other than the Varnashramites, and he himself declared to teach us that he does not belong to any caste or social order of life, but that he is the eternal servant of the Lord who maintains the damsels of Vrindavan, that is Lord Krishna, and that is the way of self-realization. Hare Krishna.
So very elaborately, Prabhupada is writing about each and every province which has been mentioned here, and what sinful activities, like they are involved in sinful activities. The only solution is just take shelter of Krishna. If one takes shelter of Lord, automatically he will be purified. About Lord Jesus, about Muhammad Prophet is also given. Sometimes the question arises, who is Muhammad Prophet? In one place it has been very clearly said, Prabhupada mentions he is a pure devotee, but in one place it is said that he is actually the Bhutaganas of Lord Shiva, one of the Bhutaganas of Lord Shiva. So, for what purpose it has been, he has been sent, only Lord knows. When Lord sends his messengers for some reasons, Lord Shiva is a great devotee of Krishna. So when he sends, it will always be like Lord Buddha comes. He himself is God. And when he preached, when he preached, he said Vedas are false. So the Kali has to start. So even for that, Lord appears as Lord Buddha. It's Krishna himself and saying Vedas are false. So there is two opinions about it. God is there, God is not there. He created two opinions just by keeping quiet when people ask God is there. Is God there? Then he just kept quiet. Because if he says yes, God is there, then what will happen? The Vedas are true. So sometimes it may seem, like, what is this? He is such a sinful, he is actually Bhutagana of Lord Shiva. So they come with certain purposes to create Kali. Kali influence should be there. No? How Kali influence can happen? How quarrel can happen? If everything is Satyuga, then so quarrel should happen. They come with certain purposes. There are certain, they call them as Paigambas. When they come with certain purpose. Lord Jesus, when he appeared, he's a great devotee of Lord Krishna. It is very clearly said in the Bible that he, with his, when he was crucified, he comes to Jagannath Puri and he does tapasya there. So different versions, different things are spoken. But one thing we should understand in general, whoever he may be, anyone who is having a sinful tendency, just by taking shelter of Krishna, he is purified. That is most important. One may be very expert in Vedas, one may be a wonderful Brahmana, everything it may be. But if he is not taking shelter of Krishna, what is the use? That is more important. So as a student of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, we should always see with that understanding that yes, whoever takes shelter of Krishna, they can be purified. He can come from any place. He can have any background. But our work is what? Just give Krishna consciousness to everyone. So that all are purified. Sa isha atma vatam atmatmavatam adhishwaram striyamayo trayamayo sa esha atmatmavatam adhishwaras trayamayo dharmamayastapomaya gata velikair ajashankaradibir vitarkyalingo bhagavan prasidatam sa esha atmatmavatam adhishwaras trayimayo dharmamayastapomaya gata velikair अज शङ्करादिभिः वितर्क्यलिङ्गो भगवान् प्रसीदताम् सः सः ही एषः, it is Atmah, the super soul, Atmavatam of the self-realized souls, Adhishwaraha, the supreme lord, Trayamayaha, the personified Vedas, Dharmamayaha, personified religious scriptures, Tapahamayaha, personified austerity, Gata Velikahi, by those who are above all presentations, Ajaha, Brahmaji, Shankara Adivihi, by Lord Shiva and others, Vittarkyalingaha, one who is observed with awe and venerations, Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead, Prasidatam, be kind towards me. So now here Sukadeva Goswami says he is the super soul, Atma. And he is super soul, and also he is the Lord of Atmavatam. Atmavatam means the self-realized souls. So he is the supreme Lord, Adhishwaraha, for the Atmavatam. And then Traimayaha is a personification of Vedas. His personification of the religious scriptures. And also is a personification of austerity. Then, then it is given Gata Velikaha. Okay. Ajaha Shankara Adibihi. So he is worshipped by Brahmaji, he is worshipped by Lord Shiva, and then by all those who are Gataha Velikahi, who are transcendental to all three modes of material nature, pretensions. And then, being so revered, he is revered with awe and veneration. So I pray that he gives me prasada. Prasada means mercy. Prasidata means mercy. Let him be kind towards me. Let him shower his mercy onto me. So it is said, a devotee doesn't want anything. Prabhupada also puts that Krishna Bhakta Nishkama Ate Eva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakala Ashanta. So devotee just requires mercy of Krishna. He doesn't want anything else. He just wants mercy of Lord. He just asking, just be kind towards me. And what is that kindness which is asked by Sukadeva Goswami? Always engage me in your service. That is the kindness which Krishna can give. When you're kind to somebody, what you do? You give something. You give something. Now, what is the ultimate kindness which Krishna can give? Giving himself to the devotee. That is the ultimate kindness which a devotee seeks for. Just give me yourself, O Krishna. When Krishna gives himself to the devotee, what more a devotee wants? So that is what is asked by Sukadeva Goswami. Here very clearly it has been said, he is super soul. He is seated in everyone's heart. That means he knows the desire of everyone. Why this verse is there? He knows your desire, my desire, everyone's desire. He knows also the desire of the karmis. He knows the desire of the jnanis also. Ye yatha mam prapadyanti tam sataiva bhajamyaham mama martman vartante manusha partha sarvasha. So whatever a person desires, Krishna gives. But here, and then he is also he is the supreme Lord of self-realized soul. So who is a self-realized soul? Who understands his position? That he is eternally the servant of Krishna. So he is Aradhya Bhagavan for self-realized souls. And also those who are interested in studying the Vedas, religious scriptures, austerities, so who all are mentioned here, the Jnanis, the Tapasvis, the Yogis, they all should know that they should meditate upon Krishna, who is a personification of the Vedas, the austerities, the religious scriptures, what is the use of doing austerities if he is not meditating on Krishna? What is the use of giving trouble to one's body if he is not doing for Krishna? Austerity means voluntarily accepting difficulties for the body. What is the use of voluntarily accepting the difficulty if he is not anchoring his difficulty, or he is not anchoring towards Krishna, he is not keeping Krishna in the center? That has been given. And then many people worship with awe and venerations. So what is the meaning? Awe and venerations. Jnana yukta bhava. But then here, why it is said, oh, be pleased with me, be kind to me. That means I want Vishuddha Prema. I want Vishuddha Vatsalya or Vishuddha whatever, Vishuddha. The highest worship which Vrajavasis did. Highest worship which Vrajavasis did, that has been asked by Sukadev Goswami, because he knows the highest worship is Sarvadharman Parityajya Mami Kam Sharanam Vraja. So one can understand this, may that supreme soul be pleased with me. Now Sukadev Goswami is also self-realized soul. But still, why is he asking this? For him also Aradhya Bhagavan is Krishna. He knows he's carrying the scriptures. He knows he knows the essence of Vedas. But still he is asking, what should he ask? What should he ask? So he is asking that devotion which Vrajavasis have. That is what all the self-realized souls, Jnana Yukta Bhaktas, they also hanker for. Okay. So Vrindavan Mataji read.
Hare Krishna Mataji Dandat Pare. Sa esha atma atmavatam Traimayo dharmamayas tapomayaha Gata vailikai raja shankaradhir Vitarkyalinga bhagavana prasidatam. He is the super soul and the supreme lord of all self-realized souls. He is the personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by Lord Brahma and Shiva and all those who are transcendental to all pretensions. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may that Supreme Absolute be pleased with me. The Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead, although the Lord of all followers of different paths of self-realization, is knowable only by those who are above all pretensions. Everyone is searching for eternal peace or eternal life. And with an aim to this destination, everyone is either studying the Vedic scriptures or other religious scriptures, or undergoing severe austerity as empiric philosophers, as mystic yogis, or as unalloyed devotees, etc. But the Supreme Lord is perfectly realized only by the devotees because they are above all pretensions. Those who are on the path of self-realization are generally classified as karmis, jnanis, yogis, or devotees of the Lord. The karmis who are much attracted by the fruitive activities of the Vedic rituals are called bhukti kami, or those who desire material enjoyment. The jnanis who try to become one with the Supreme by mental speculation are called mukti kami, or those who desire liberation from material existence. The mystic yogis who practice different types of austerities for attainment of 8 kinds of perfection, who ultimately meet the super soul Paramatma in trance, are called siddhi kami, or those who desire the perfection of becoming finer than the finest, becoming heavier than the heaviest, getting everything desired, having control over everyone, creating everything liked, etc. All these are abilities of a powerful yogi. But the devotees of the Lord do not want anything like that for self-satisfaction. They want only to serve the Lord because the Lord is great, and as living entities, they are eternally subordinate parts and parcels of the Lord. This perfect realization of the self by the devotees help him to become desireless, to desire nothing for his personal self. And thus the devotees are called nishkami, without any desire. A living entity by his constitutional position cannot be void of all desires. The bhukti kami, mukti kami, and siddhi kami all desire something for personal satisfaction. But the nishkami devotees of the Lord desire everything for the satisfaction of the Lord. They are completely dependent on the orders of the Lord and are always ready to discharge their duty for the satisfaction of the Lord. In the beginning, Arjun placed himself as one of those who desire self-satisfaction, for he desired not to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. But to make him desireless, the Lord preached the Bhagavad Gita, in which the ways of Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Hatha Yoga, and also Bhakti Yoga were explained. Because Arjun was without any pretension, he changed his decision and satisfied the Lord by agreeing to fight. Karishye Vachanam Tava, and thus he became desireless. The examples of Brahma and Lord Shiva are specifically cited here because Brahmaji, Lord Shiva, Srimati Lakshmi ji, and the four Kumaras, Sanak, Sanatan, etc., are leaders of the four desireless Vaishnava Sampradayas. They are all freed from all pretensions. Srila Jiva Goswami interprets the word Gata Vyalikai as Projita Kaitavai, or those who are freed from all pretensions, the unalloyed devotees only. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 19.149, it is said, Krishna Bhakta Nishkama At Eva Shanta Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. Those who are after fruitive results for their pious activities, those who desire salvation and identity with the Supreme, and those who desire material perfections of mystic power are all restless because they want something for themselves. But the devotee is completely peaceful because he has no demand for himself and is always ready to serve the desire of the Lord. The conclusion is that the Lord is for everyone because no one can achieve the result of his respective desires without his sanction. But as stated by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita 8.9, all such results are awarded by him only. For the Lord is Adhishvara, the original controller of everyone, namely the Vedantists, the great Karmakandiyas, or the great religious leaders, the great performers of austerity, and all who are striving for spiritual advancement. But ultimately, he is realized by the pretensionless devotees only. Therefore, special stress is given to the devotional service of the Lord by Srila Shukadeva Goswami. Hare Krishna.
Next. Shriyapati, Yagyapati, Prajapati. Remember this verse where it came? And Bhagavad Gita, when how the creation happens there, when Lord creates, and then the creation, in the beginning of the creations, the demigods were given to the set of men. It has been there. And that Shriyapati, Yagyapati, there Prabhupada quotes this verse. Shriyapati, Yagyapati, Prajapati, Dhyampati, Lokapati, Dharapati, Patir Gatis Chandikaha, Vrishni Satvatam, Prasidatam, Me Bhagavan, Satam Pati. Shriyapati, Yagyapati, Prajapati, Dhyampati, Lokapati, Dharapati, Patir Gatis Chandakaha, Vrishni Satvatam, Prasidatam Me Bhagavan Satam Pati. No, Shriyapati. He is worshipped by Shriya. Shriya means all opulence. Patihi, the owner. He is the owner of all opulence. Yagya Pati. Again, he is the director of sacrifices. Prajapati is the leader of all living entities. Dhyampati is the master of the intelligence. Lokapati is the proprietor of all the planets. Dharapati is supreme head of the earth. Gatihi cha andhakaha is the destination. Then one of the kings of Yadu dynasty, Andhakaha, Vrishni, the first king of the Yadu dynasty, Satvatam, the Yadus, Prasidatam, be merciful. May upon me, Bhagavan, Lord Shri Krishna, Satam, Pati. So here it has been given. He is worshipable Lord of all the devotees, the protector and glory of all the kings like Andhaka and Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty. then his husband of. So from here Prabhupada started that how Lord Krishna, he is the worshipable Lord of Yadu dynasty, and he is the glory of all the kings. He is the glory of Andakaha, then Vrishni, and all these things. Vrishni, sometimes we hear this word Vrishni. So who is Vrishni? He is the first king in Vrishni dynasty. Sometimes we say he is from Vrishni Parivar. So what is Vrishni Parivar? Yadu Parivar only. Vrishni. Andakaha, he is also Yadu dynasty. All are coming from Yadu dynasty. So he is Satvatam. Satvatam means the Yadus. He is very merciful upon them. Be merciful upon me also, O Lord. Satampati, you are Satampati, you are the protector of the devotees. So in this way, Sukadeva Goswami is saying that you are worshipped by everyone. You are worshipped by the husband of goddesses of fortune. He is husband of goddesses of fortune. Lakshmi is worship you. And the sacrifices are done for you. Yajnathat karma lokoyam karma bandhana. If you don't do it for him, then all the things will be only the cause of bondage. And then he is leader of all the living entities, is a controller of intelligence. And here again, Sukadeva Goswami is praying that Prasidata, 2 times it has come. In the previous was also Prasidata, here also Prasidata. Oh Lord, be merciful upon me. So here, why again Pati, be merciful upon me? You protect me. You are protecting everyone. Palaniti Pati. Now you protect me. There what was asked? Oh Lord, you know everything. You know the desire of everyone. So you be kind to me. My desire is to understand you more nicely, more perfectly. Because Parshit Maharaj is asking Sukadeva Goswami to describe Lord. Lord can be described only by his mercy, especially the sweet dealings of Lord with the Vrajavasis cannot be understood even by Brahma. So be kind towards me so that you can reveal all those wonderful pastimes. Sukadeva Goswami is parrot of Srimati Radharani. How still he is praying this, see, but that means even to be Parshadas of Krishna, parrot of Krishna, Parshadas of Krishna, it requires his mercy. So you are protecting everyone. You are protecting Lakshmi ji. You are protecting the living entities. You are protecting the Vedas. You are protecting the sacrifices. You are also controlling the intelligence. So everything is controlled by you. You are the proprietor of everything, the spiritual world, the material world, everything. Now be merciful towards me. That means I can describe you only by your mercy. Tasyaite katitayartam prakashante mahatmana. If I worship my spiritual master as good as God, then everything is revealed. Tesham satatayuktanam bhajitam pritipurvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mamupayanti te. Then if I worship you very nicely, only by your mercy I can understand you. Also it has been said, Acharyamam vijaniyam navamanyeta karhichit. That is a glorification of Acharyas. If I worship the Guru Parampara very nicely, then you can be merciful to me. Here Sukadeva Goswami is praying that you are controlling everything. You are Pati of everyone. That means you are protector of all the Guru Shishya Parampara also. You are protecting each and every one. Now, because here Dhyam has been spoken. Dhyam means the intelligence. Intelligence lies in being in Guru Shishya Parampara. So you are protecting each and every one. So be merciful upon me. If you reveal yourself, then only I can describe you. Okay? Aruna Deep.
Hare Krishna, Dandvat Pranam. Shriya Patir Yajna Patir Prajapatir Dhyam Patir Loka Patir Dharapatihi Patir Gatishwandaka Vrishni Satvatam Prasidatam Me Bhagavan Satam Patihi. Translation. May Lord Shri Krishna, who is the worshipable Lord of all devotees, the protector and glory of all the kings, like Andhaka and Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty, the husband of all goddess of fortune, the director of all sacrifices, and therefore the leader of all living entities, the controller of all intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, and the supreme incarnation on the earth, the supreme all in all, be merciful upon me. Purport. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Since Shukadeva Goswami is one of the prominent Gata Vyalikas who are freed from all misconceptions, he therefore expresses his own realized perception of Lord Sri Krishna as being the sum total of all perfection, the personality of Godhead. Everyone is seeking the favor of the goddess of fortune, but people do not know that Lord Sri Krishna is the beloved husband of the goddess of fortune. In the Brahma Samhita, it is said that the Lord in his transcendental abode, Goloka Vrindavana, is accustomed to herding the Surabhi cows and is served there by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune. All these goddesses of fortune are manifestation of his transcendental pleasure potency, Ladini Shakti, in his internal energy. And when the Lord manifested himself on this earth, he partially displayed the activities of his pleasure potency, that is his Rasa Leela, just to attract the conditioned souls who are all after the phantasmagoria pleasure potency in the degraded sex enjoyment. The pure devotees of Lord like Shukadeva Goswami, who was completely detached from the abominable sex life of the material world, discussed this act of Lord's pleasure potency, certainly not in relation to sex, but to relish a transcendental taste inconceivable to the mundaners who are after sex life. Sex life is the mundane world. In the mundane world is the root cause of being conditioned by the shackles of illusion. And certainly Shukadeva Goswami was never interested in the sex life of the mundane world, nor does the manifestation of the Lord's pleasure potency have any connection with such degraded things. Lord Chaitanya was a strict sannyasi, so much so that he did not allow any woman to come near him, not even to bow down and offer respects. He never even heard the prayers of the Devadasis offered in the temple of Jagannatha, because a sannyasi is forbidden to hear songs sung by the fair sex. Yet, even in this rigid position of a sannyasi, he recommended the mode of worship preferred by the gopis of Vrindavana as the topmost loving service possible to be rendered to the Lord. And Srimati Radharani is the principal head of all such goddesses of fortune, and therefore she is the pleasure counterpart of the Lord and is non-different from Krishna. In the Vedic rituals, types of sacrifice in order to achieve the greatest benefit in life. Such benedictions as a result of performing great sacrifices are, after all, favors given by the goddess of fortune, and the Lord, being the husband of or lover of the goddess of fortune, is factually the Lord of all sacrifices also. He is the final enjoyer of all kinds of yajna. Therefore, Yagyapati is another name of Lord Vishnu. Okay. It is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita that everything be done for the Yagyapati, or otherwise, one's acts will be the cause of conditioning by the law of material nature. Those who are not freed from all misconception, Vyalikam, perform sacrifices to please the minor demigods, but devotees of the Lord know very well that Lord Krishna is the supreme enjoyer of all performances of sacrifice. Therefore, they perform the Sankirtana Yajna, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, which is especially recommended in this age of Kali. In Kali Yuga, performance of other types of sacrifice is not feasible due to insufficient arrangements and inexpert priesthood. We have information from the Bhagavad Gita 3.10 and 11 that Lord Brahma, after giving rebirth to the conditioned souls within the universe, instructed them to perform sacrifices and to lead a prosperous life. With such sacrificial performances, The conditioned souls will never be in difficulty in keeping body and soul together. Ultimately, they can purify their existence. They will find natural promotion into spiritual existence. The real identity of the living being, a conditioned soul, should never give up the practice of sacrifice, charity, austerity in any circumstances. The aim of all such sacrifices is to please the Yagyapati, the personality of Godhead. Therefore, the Lord is also Prajapati according to the Katha Upanishad. The one Lord is the leader of the innumerable living entities. The living entities are maintained by the Lord. Eko Bhunam Yo Vidadi
Vidadati Kama.
Vidadati Kaman. The Lord is therefore called the Supreme Bhutabhrit, or maintainer of all living beings. Living beings are proportionately endowed with intelligence in terms of their previous activities. All living beings are not equally endowed with the same quality of intelligence, because behind such development of intelligence is the control of the Lord, as declared in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15. As Paramatma, Super Soul, the Lord is living in everyone's heart, and from Him only does one's power of remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness follow. Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. One person can sharply remember past activities by the grace of the Lord, while others cannot. One is highly intelligent by the grace of the Lord, and one is a fool by the same control. Therefore, the Lord is Dhyampati, or the Lord of intelligence.
Okay. So that's intelligence. He is a Lord of intelligence. With the same intelligence, he can fool people. And he can also control people. So one is highly intelligent by the grace of the Lord, and one is being fooled by the same control. So how that intelligence can go in a different direction, that is also done by Krishna only. So a person is losing his intelligence. Why is he losing his intelligence? Because of the control of Lord. Why he is not getting it? Because he doesn't desire it. Simple. So Krishna, as Paramatma, knows what a person wants. If he wants pure devotional service, Mata Jnanam Smriti, and he gives Smriti, Apohanam. Okay, from here, Gyan Prabhu, please read. Big purpose.
Krishna,
Yeah.
the conditioned soul strive to become lords of the material world. Everyone is trying to lord it over the material nature by applying his highest degree of intelligence. This misuse of intelligence by the conditioned soul is called madness. One's full intelligence should be applied to get free from the material clutches. But the conditioned soul, due to madness only, engages his full energy and intelligence in sense gratification, and to achieve this end of life, he willfully commits all sorts of deeds. The result is that instead of attaining an unconditioned life of full freedom, the mad conditioned soul is entangled again and again in different types of bondage in material bodies. Everything we see in the material manifestation is but the creation of the Lord. Therefore, he is the real proprietor of everything in the universe. The conditioned soul can enjoy a fragment of his material creation under the control of the Lord, but not self-sufficiently. That is the instruction in Ishopanishad. One should be satisfied with things awarded by the Lord of the universe. It is out of madness only that one tries to encroach upon another's share of material possessions. The Lord of the universe, out of his causeless mercy upon the conditioned souls, descend by his own energy, Atma Maya, to reestablish the eternal relation of the conditioned souls with him. He instructs all to surrender unto him instead of falsely claiming to be enjoyers for a certain limit under his control. When he so descends, he proves how much greater is his ability to enjoy, and he exhibits his power of enjoyment by, for instance, marrying 16,000 wives at once. The conditioned soul is very proud of becoming the husband of even one wife, but the Lord laughs at this. The intelligent man can know who is the real husband. Actually, the Lord is the husband of all women in his creation. But a conditioned soul under the control of the Lord feels proud to be thousand of one or two wives. All these qualifications as the different types of pati mentioned in this verse are meant for Lord Sri Krishna. And Sukadeva Goswami has therefore especially mentioned the pati and gati of the Yadu dynasty. The members of the Yadu dynasty knew that Lord Sri Krishna is everything, and all of them intended to return to Lord Krishna after he had finished his transcendental pastime on the earth. The Yadu dynasty was annihilated by the will of the Lord because its members had to return home with the Lord. The annihilation of the Yadu dynasty was a material show created by the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, the Lord and the members of the Yadu dynasty are still in eternal associates. The Lord is therefore the guide of all devotees, and as such, Sukadeva Goswami offered him due respect with love-laden feelings. Thank you, Mataji.
So the Lord is the annihilator. When Lord sees everything is over, now his leelas are done with, then Lord has his own ways to annihilate everything. His only devotees, but they fought with each other. So some cause should be there, no, for everything. So Krishna knows how to destroy also everything, how to create also, how to maintain also. Okay, so here we'll stop. Any questions you can ask. Any questions?
Mataji, can you explain that part in which the geographies are mentioned?
I'm not so good in geography, but let us see. Kirat, province of old Bharata, which has been given. The Bhishma Parvat has been given. They are known as Aboriginal tribes. In that, Chota Nagpur it comes. Then something Sunthal Purganas in Bihar, Chota Nagpur. So mainly they are the Adivasis. Adivasi cult has been given, the Adivasis. Now Adivasis, what are they into? They're into simple activities only. Can you expect something high from the Adivasis? But if they take shelter of Krishna, they can come out of all these things. Now Germany side has been given, area of East Germany, part of Russia, that has been also given. All hilly tribes. If you see, tribal people has been mentioned. There are tribal people even in Andhra. Because Andhra is the southern India, province in southern India. So all these tribal people, because tribal people are into doing all type of simple activities, cutting the animals, eating, that's all the same only, no? And they don't know, they sometimes kill even man also. They becomes cannibals also. So that is why here, in short, if you see all, what has been mentioned are the tribal peoples, the simple peoples, those who are not the part of Varnashrama, those who are not accepting any form of devotional service. You can say any form of worship, not devotional service, worship. Even for Shudras, there are some rules and regulations, but these are such people, those who don't have any rules and regulations, like Mlechas have also been given. And here, Prabhupada very clearly writes, those who are not following even Islamic culture properly. Because in all the scriptures, whatever it may be, the worship of the Lord in different ways have been given. Some are into Brahman aspect, some are into Paramatma aspect, some are not able to understand the personal form of Lord. But rules and regulations are there in every aspect. If they are not following that, then they become kafirs, they become the heathens, and all those things have been given. So the scriptures, every religion has a scripture to follow so that they become human at least. From the animalistic tendency, they come to the human platform. And if they are not following the scriptures, then they are just namesake, so and so particular community. Some may call themselves Muslims, some may call themselves Hindus, some may call themselves as Christians. But the scriptures are there to make a person human. So here, even because they are not following the scriptures, they do all type of simple activities, whatever comes to their mind, unrestricted sense enjoyment. That categorizes them as animals. That is why if a person takes shelter of Krishna, that is enough. That is enough to transform him. That's simple. So you can see right from Greek, Russia, all places have been included here. That time, Bharat Varsha it is. Bharat Varsha, Bharata Khanda, Bharata Bhumi. The whole earth is controlled by Parikshit Maharaj. Why all these things have been has been told to Parikshit Maharaj? So he says to Parikshit Maharaj, Sukadeva Goswami, that you are ruling the whole world. In that whole world, there are provinces where sins are happening. Just by taking shelter of Krishna, all our sinful tendencies will automatically go away. So it was not just India, it's a whole Bharat Bhumi, a whole earth. The importance of, because Parikshit Maharaj wanted to know more about Krishna. He says, please speak more. Even Shaunakadi Rishi wanted to know what is happening more, how Lord is described. So Parikshit Maharaj says that if a person glorifies Krishna, if a person just takes shelter of Krishna, that is enough. That is good.
Mataji, what I fail to understand is, like, when it comes to Varnashrama system, it is basically meant for civilized human society.
One who follows Vedas, simple.
Yes.
Varnashrama system is one who does their whatever Varna and Ashrama according to the Vedas. One who is not following the Vedas, they come in the category of natures, tribals.
And this
But Krishna is beyond Vedas. Krishna is beyond Vedas.
Yes. Yes.
So even though he is not following the Vedas, like the natures, Prabhupada went and preached to whom? He don't even preach to Shudras, he preached to natures. But Bhakti is beyond all these things.
Actually, what was eluding me was, like, when it comes to uncivilized sects, as has been mentioned here, then why should geographies be specifically mentioned when we are referring to a particular class of people?
Different
are uncivilized.
in different places, different types of uncivilized people stay. That has to be given, na? Different types of uncivilized people stay in different places. So that is why different types of uncivilized people, those who are not following. So everywhere it has been mentioned, right from our in the country where we are there, simple. So different types of people are being mentioned. The Turkeys, how they are, Pulingas, how they are, what did they do? So the mention is there. By mentioning this, the sinful people are not just restricted to the only, like Krishna is only mentioning here in the Bhagavatam, these verses are coming. It's not just restricted. Like this so-called sinful people, like this, etc., etc., etc. Like these so-called sinful people, if they take shelter of Krishna, ashrayam, shuddhyanti.
Yes.
So examples are there. Okay. Stop here. First batch has to start. Second batch, what I don't know. Second batch, first batch, new batch has to start. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo. Vaishnavavrinda ki jai.